Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Game Vortex, and today we're going to be talking about Nintendo Classic, the mini console that they released for $59.99, and it finally has been hacked. So I'm going to tell you about that and how to do it in a minute, but what I wanted to address quickly is that I was very hesitant to buy this kind of a device. It's not that the price is the issue, it's that it only came with 30 games. I know the price is quite cheap, but what if you wanted more? It sends a message that Nintendo might come up with a volume 2, volume 3, volume 4, and then you'll end up with 5 or 6 this mini NESs standing underneath your TV. So it was very, very, very disappointing that it only came with 30 games and you wasn't able to load any kind of ROMs onto it. But it finally happened. And I'm gonna tell you about it all right now. So, you know that I'm probably from my name you figured out that I can speak Russian and read Russian. So, yes, I've been onto this forum, the gbx.ru. Basically, it's a Russian forum about Game Boy Extreme. It's called. The people are there basically raping all the platforms from Nintendo. And there was a guy basically goes by the name, I think it's Mad Monkey or something like that. Yeah. And I'm reading a thread right now. So basically he found a way to load more ROMs onto the console. So right now he had 60 of them actually instead of 30. Still didn't notice about the actual size of the storage of the device to be able to see how many ROMs can you actually fit in there. But I mean 60 is already better than 30. So how did he do that? I'm gonna tell you about it the first way, and then after that the guys picked up the thread and they managed to improve on this method basically. So the first method was really complicated, and if you have no idea how to do any of that, I would suggest you don't do it, because you'll end up breaking your console most likely. So basically what you needed to do, well, his first solution to that problem is you create a save file on the first slot in Super Mario Bros. But if you already played the game, you already have that save. Once you done that, you can unplug it, plug your NES Classic Edition via micro USB cable to your computer, and you have to boot the console in a FEL mode. Basically, you can do that by holding down the system reset button while pushing down the power button from the powered off state. And also at the same time, you should have a SUNC FEL interface on your computer setup. There is a link that I can put in the description below where you can take the whole package, but don't do that just yet because there is something else I need to tell you after that. Okay, so basically what that package actually, the SUNC FEL is doing is basically a compatible USB boot software on the computer, so it actually can recognize the NES Classic. Okay, so what does basically is that you take all the data from the NES Classic and basically you modify it through the special application that was made by hackers. Well, you can call them hackers, these guys on the forum. So there's also a chance of having a spyware and things like that. So do it on your own judgment, right? And basically, I mean, downloading the ROMs is illegal technically, but I mean they're widely available everywhere. Don't think anyone will give a shit anyway, because you're not playing online. So you just take your ROM files, you put it in there through the special application software, it will repackage it again, and you then flash your NES Classic. You can also include the custom JPEGs from the games that will show up on the interface. I mean, it still remains to be seen how many games actually supported with the emulation that is on there. But basically, I think pretty much most of them at this point. So you repack the kernel and you flash it yourself. Now this is where you can possibly break the console. And that's it. And after that, you're ready to go. Well, yeah, of course, it's complicated. But then the guys later on the thread here, I'm reading up other users here, like Mad Monkey is basically saying how it works, what doesn't work. And some people who join him, the VOEORF, whatever the nickname that means, and Alexei is basically, he said that they already created a special software which basically does that in a couple of clicks. The whole process can be done in a couple of clicks, and I'll try to include the link to the package in the description. So basically you can put your own put your own ROMs in there and enjoy playing it. And all of a sudden, as you can see, this console became something very, very interesting for me as well. So it will be interesting. I'm gonna test it out today. I mean, I've tested out the first method already, and it does work. I didn't break my console. I managed to install some Mega Man games, and it works like a charm. So what we need to do right now is basically I'll test out this new method number 2, which is easier and has less possibility of breaking your console. You can just use a special utility to do the whole process with just connecting your system, selecting the games you want, and automatically just patch everything else in there. And I'll report it back to you. Now, if you still don't have the NES Classic, I would highly recommend you to pick one up because it's only $60 if you can find one anywhere. Don't spend more than $60 no matter how much you want it. Nintendo is known to be like they are pretty much creating artificial supply all the time, shortage of the supply to create the hype. And I had the same issue with the Wii. You know, I had no interest in purchasing the Wii, but because everybody was raving about it, and every single like newspaper was raving about it and saying like, oh, you can't find it anywhere, and then all of a sudden you hear like somebody says, oh, I've seen a few like in Toys R Us. So even though I wasn't interested, it's like, shit, I need to pick one up because everybody wants one. And then I just started going into the shop, and the more you go to the shops, you can't find it, the more you actually want it. So I didn't buy it at the end, but like I've desperately tried to buy one. And I've seen people selling one for like $1,500 at that time. There would be like signs on the side of the street saying, selling Nintendo Wii, so on and so forth. So yeah, in this case, like now that you can flash your own ROMs, you can play pretty much any game you want. This console is all of a sudden a very, very, very viable solution. I mean, of course, Nintendo could have released it with Wi-Fi and an SD card slot or something like that and charge $99 for it. But come on, they're not gonna let you download the games for free. But then again, this is what happens when they don't. So yeah, do you have an NES Classic? That's what I wanted to know. Do you actually play it? Do you enjoy those ridiculously short controllers? I had to buy like a gigantic HDMI cable, like an extender, just to be able to move it away from the TV so I can actually sit on the couch. I even had to move the couch up front a little bit so I could reach the controllers. Whoever the hell came up with the length of these cables in Nintendo needs to be executed. Seriously. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, listening. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have any questions, please leave the comments below. I want to know about your experiences and if you're happy with your NES Classic, if you have one, and if you're planning to get one. It's only $60 anyway. And obviously, please subscribe, share, like the video. And I thank you all for your support, and I'll see you all in the next episode of Game Vortex.